Room 7. Perhaps you don't believe in ghosts. I'm not sure that I believe in them. I am not sure that I saw a ghost that night. But if I didn't see a ghost, what did I see? I was returning from a business trip to the north. I lived near London then. It was winter. The roads were covered with ice, and I had to drive slowly and carefully. I was still a long way from home when it got dark. Then my car lights began to fail. It was too dangerous to stay on the main road. I turned off into a quiet country road. After a few kilometers, I saw a road sign, Milham. 5 minutes later, I was driving along a narrow street. There were a few shops with bright lights, and I could see a garage at the end of the street. I stopped there and explained my problem. The man looked at my car lights. "I will repair them in the morning," he said. "Is there a hotel in Milham?" I asked. "There is the goat at the top of the street," he said. "We don't have many visitors in Milham in the winter. Tell Mr. Richards I sent you. He will look after you." I thanked him and took my suitcase out of the car. Then I walked back up the street to the goat. It was an old building. The hotel office was just inside the front door. A big man came through another door at the back of the office and smiled at me in a friendly way. "Mr. Richards?" I asked. "Yes," he answered. "Can I help you?" I explained that my car was at the garage. "I need a meal and a room for the night," I said. "The meal isn't a problem," he said. "Dinner will be ready in an hour, but this is a small hotel. We have only got 6 bedrooms and they are all full." The door opened again and a little woman walked quickly into the room. "This is my wife," Richard explained. He turned to her and said, "I was telling our visitor that we are full tonight, Liz. His car is at the garage and he wants dinner and a bed for the night." "There is room 7, Tom," she said. "But we don't," he began. "We can't send him away on a night like this," his wife said. "I will make the bed in room 7. "I am giving you trouble, I am afraid," I said. "It's not trouble, Mr. Saunders," I said. "I am John Saunders." "It is not trouble, Mr. Saunders. We don't use room 7 much. There is nothing wrong with it." She gave her husband a look when she said that. He didn't reply. Room 7 was on the top floor, above the other bedrooms. It felt quite cold, but there was an electric fire. It will soon get warm, I thought, and it's beautifully quiet up here. I will sleep well tonight. It wasn't a big room. There was a bed, a cupboard, and a wash basin behind the door. Between the wash basin and the cupboard was a big, straight-backed chair. I washed and then went down to dinner. I enjoyed my meal and then I went to the bar. I talked to Richard and some of his friends until I began to feel sleepy. "I think I will go up to bed now," I said. "Good night then, Mr. Saunders," Richard said. "I hope you will be comfortable. Sleep well." I don't know how long I slept. Something woke me. It wasn't a noise. The bedroom was quiet, but something strange was happening. The light on my bedside table wasn't on, but a part of the room was slowly becoming light. My bed was in the dark. I couldn't see the cupboard or the wash basin, but I could see the big chair. I could see its seat, its arms, its legs, and its tall, straight back. It was shining at me out of the dark. I closed my eyes tightly. I didn't feel afraid, not then. Fear came later. No, I wasn't afraid, but I wanted to think and to shut out that strange light. I dreamed it, I thought. Of course, I drank too much in the bar after dinner, and I was dreaming. I decided to count slowly up to 50 and then to open my eyes again. 40, 41. I was counting the numbers very slowly when I heard it. Somebody was breathing in the room. This was not a dream, a thief, perhaps. I opened my eyes. Now a man was sitting in the chair. He was old and he had white hair, but he was sitting up straight. His bright eyes were looking at me. I tried to speak, but no words came. I wanted to say, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" But I couldn't. I told myself not to be afraid. He was too old to hurt me, but his eyes were frightening. They never moved. He lifted his left hand and pointed his finger at me. Now his eyes were very sad, and suddenly I wasn't afraid of him. When he spoke, his voice was tired. "I never knew," he said, "but you do." His hand dropped. Suddenly I could speak. "What do I know?" I asked. "Who are you? What?" Before I could complete the question, he and the light disappeared. A voice woke me. "Here is a cup of tea, Mr. Saunders. Your breakfast will be ready in half an hour." Richard put the tea on my bedside table and went out quickly. I thought about my strange visitor. Did I dream it all? I decided not to worry Mr. and Mrs. Richards with a mystery that they couldn't solve. I had my breakfast. Then I went into the hotel office to pay my bill. Mrs. Richards was sitting at the desk. She smiled and gave me the bill. "Did you sleep well?" I looked up to answer her. I saw a picture on the wall behind her. The white hair, the strong face, and the bright eyes were terribly familiar to me. I pointed at the picture. "Who's that?" I asked. She looked at the picture and turned back quickly. "It's Tom's father. He lived with us here at the Gold. He died 5 years ago in the room that you slept in last night. That's why Tom didn't want you to have room 7. But you—" I stopped. She was speaking again. "There was some silly stories about room 7, Mr. Saunders," she said. "One or two nervous visitors thought that the room was haunted. A ghost isn't good for a hotel, so Tom's father decided to sleep there. He didn't believe in ghosts, so he went up to bed at his usual time, but—" "Yes," I said. "What happened?" "I took tea up for him the next morning," she said, "and I found him in that big chair, cold and dead. Of course, he was an old man. His heart just failed suddenly." I picked up my case, Mr. Richards. I said. She wasn't listening to me. She smiled and said, So we never discovered the mystery of room 7, and I don't believe that anybody will. It's just a silly story. I paid the bill, said goodbye, and walked quickly down the street towards the garage. The voice of an old man seemed to follow me. I never knew, it said. Was room 7 haunted? I never knew. But you do. You know now, don't you?